John in Vashon, Washington. Hey, John. Isn't it Vashon Island?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what's up?
Oh, thanks for taking my phone call. I've been listening for a long time, and ever since you've been in Portland, and this is a big thrill, so thank you for taking my phone call.
Thank you.
I wanted to talk about restitution, because I think
For slavery?
Yes. Because I think if you look at the history of the United States, our power is really based on the economic engine that got started with slavery. And until we come to terms with that as a nation, we're never going to be able to come to terms with taking care of poor people or a decent minimum wage, health care for everyone. When I hear certain people on the right wing talk about, when they're justifying their views for why we should not even have a minimum wage, I think back to earlier arguments when slave owners that had plantations would actually, say that they were taking care of black people because they couldn't take care of themselves, that sort of thing. I just wonder what your thoughts are on restitution. I know it's probably not going to ever happen in our lifetime, but I think it would create so much healing in this country if we did do it.
I think that you start, if we were to do something like that, then you start getting into those very, very sticky wicket problems like Native Americans have on the res, where one person qualifies for a card, for a BIA card, Bureau of Indian Affairs card, because they can demonstrate a certain percentage of Indian blood ancestry, and another person who might have grown up next door to them and thinks of themselves as a member of that reservation doesn't qualify, or somebody in the city who's never had any association with the culture or the reservation does qualify. You know what I'm talking about here?
I do, yeah.
I think that rather than saying we're going to do restitution for slavery based on somebody's racial past, when they may have a very, very, a very mixed racial past, we are increasingly a nation of mutts, a polyglot culture. I think instead we need to be dealing with the issues of poverty and class. And if we could solve in America the issues of poverty and class, that would resolve the issue of race, because I see race as a subset of class. Our society, we've always been a slave-holding society. Western society, from its start in Sumeria 7,000 years ago, was always a slave-holding society. It's just taken many, many different forms over the years. And it's always been based on an economic system, economic slavery. And, regardless of race. And, you had white people who were sold or who sold themselves into indenture. Or you could argue that people working on the mines in West Virginia, 100 years ago, who tried to rise up in the early strike days, that functionally they were slaves. They ended up owing the company store more than they earned, that kind of thing. That really what we need to do is deal with these issues of class and poverty, and race has been one of the because you can see a person's race. It's been one of the easy ways to say, okay, we're going to take a certain segment of the population and they're going to be poor in order for us to have this society where this class strata society. And if we did away with the class strata, if we fixed that, then I think the issues of race would resolve themselves quite quickly. Am I making sense here, John?
Yeah, I think you are, and I think that's perfect.
And I think that's what Lyndon Johnson was trying to do in the 60s, because he was, and frankly, I think it's what the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King was trying to do in the 1960s as well, because both of them were talking about poor white kids in Appalachia nearly as much as they were talking about poor black kids all over the United States. And so, we really need to be addressing poverty as well as race, obviously, and racism. But also I think that as the old racist whites are dying out, and this new younger generation is coming up that doesn't so much see race, but it really gets it about class. That's the new divisor. The new line of cleavage is now class rather than race. And in fact, if you want to look at popular culture, if you want to look at movies, like the movie Scandal, where you've got a black woman having an affair with a white president of the United States, but they're both from the same class. And you don't see poor people in that show. And because poor people, and it used to be poor black people, but now I'd say it's just poor people in general, tend to be the untouchables in our culture. They tend to be the ones that aren't talked about. Poverty is not discussed. Issues of class are not discussed. And that's really where we need to go. John, thanks a lot for the call.